Welcome to Health Matters. My name is Ryan O'Connor. Now, this week's guest is an extraordinary entertainer, singer, songwriter, producer, family man. He's been gracing audiences across the country, across the world for decades, and he still looks like the day I first met him. Ladies and gents, Emo Adams.
Like the day you first met me. I love that. I love that. Thank you for having me.
Listen, thanks for joining us. They say that laughter is the best medicine. Is that right?
I think it is. I think it is. I mean, it definitely heals certain parts of the soul. And us as community-based audiences, it has gotten us through tough times.
Absolutely.
If you can look at your own reality and laugh about it,
Yes.
then it's most definitely the best medicine.
You grew up in a musical family. You were surrounded by music. Musical influence was always a part of your life. However, that doesn't mean that naturally or automatically that would make you want to fall in love yourself. Was it something that you, as far as back as you can remember, you were always in love with, or did you have at all a kind of a pushback at first?
You are extremely poised at the setup. I like it because you say you've gone into. I was forced into it by my dad. So if we're
You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You're going in.
Yeah, I don't think it's one of those things of like if your dad is a Manchester United fan.
Yeah, then you will be for life.
You just there is no options. I think because my dad was like honed in Kaapse Clubs and the Malay Choir. That was his vibe for years and years and years.
Yeah.
I have to be honest with you. I think I was against it from the beginning because I didn't get the whole. Why do you have to push the narrative of heritage and culture and stuff? Until you go overseas and then you find that's actually what sets you apart from everyone else. You actually have one up.
Got you.
For them. So when I was staying in America for a bit and in Europe, it's actually the accent and every time you say, now I'm from South Africa, it's like, oh my God, you're from Africa? Then you realize, oh my goodness, we actually have a lot to offer, and that's what you should embrace. And I think that's kind of the moment that I realized, wait. And that was still at the age of, 13, 14, 15, round about there for the first time. Prior to that, I was just like against it all the time. I was like, okay, hoekom het is die hele tyd klop sit te gaan? This is like becoming crazy now. Isn't there other experiences? Isn't there other influences that we can, draw from? But now I'm happy that I've embraced it because, as I said, it does give you that cut above the rest.
It does. And I mean,
100%.
you're a great storyteller, which doesn't, again, mean because you come or because you've embraced a history or a story that you can tell it well.
100%.
You see, that's another whole ballgame.
100%.
And not many people can communicate really well through story, whether it's music, whether it's an art form in terms of
100%.
a movie or a TV show or a play. You've managed to grasp the essence of a really good storyteller and translate it through entertaining.
I think that is knocking it on the head. I enjoy. So my first theatre experience, I will never forget it. The reason why I love theatre and laughter and everything that goes to part with that is the fact that you are controlling the rhythm.
Yes.
You are controlling the beat. You are in charge. You know when to press the right button. It's similarly to when you are emceeing at a gig or, you are setting the tone through what you are saying. You're setting the narrative. You know what you want people to feel. If it's joyous, your beat goes up. If it's sad, you go a bit somber. But that first experience when my dad took me to Artscape, which was Nico Malan back in the day, to watch the Sound of Music.
Yeah.
And ons moet ons kerkklere gedra het because that's the only time you actually wear those clothes when you go out and when you go to church or whatever, mosque.
Yes.
Moet jy nou net, other than that, is bare feet outside, speel met 'n blokkie.
Okay, yeah.
But that experience in that theater changed my life. And the reason why I got into laughter and comedy is because I felt if life is this sad for me, growing out of hardship, then I want to up the ante.
Yeah.
I need to change that experience for me. And if I feel like that, I'm sure other people feel like that as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's when comedy started seeping in, is looking at what the reality of what's going on and seeing what is the funny beats in that reality.
I like the word beats that you use there because it's not only through acting, and it's also through music. And you again talk about how you present yourself. You when you're on stage, there's an energy that kind of oozes easily out of you. That's quite contagious. You've actually got to go and sometimes turn it off. And it must be a tough thing to do because in a slightly similar position where you've got to wake people up in the morning and motivate them for the day ahead.
100%.
That drains the heck out of you.
100%.
You're not the same person at home, and understandably so. It's impossible to be put on a performance day in, day out that people expect from you and still to go home and deliver that same
It's
energy.
like when people meet you in the mall and say, "Maak gou 'n joke."
Yeah.
It's just like,
What?
What do you do for the I build nog 'n bouhuis.
Well, that's not for us.
Bouhuis. Wat kom randomly maak 'n joke. Because you have to be mentally sound and present.
Yeah.
So it does take a lot. And a lot of people don't know I'm the extreme opposite at home to what I am on stage. In fact, if you had to compare myself and my brother, Lukman gives you the... Ek sal altyd sê, ons is die bad boys.
Okay.
When it comes to stage. He's like the Will Smith.
Yeah.
Very cool,
Yeah.
calm, suave, velvet voice. I'm like Martin Lawrence, always trying to catch up and stuff. But off stage, we are reverse. I'm cool and calm, and he's extremely funny off stage.
No way.
I swear to the living. And a lot of people don't know this. So it just shows you how those roles change.
Yeah.
Yet we understand each other's dynamic when it
Yes.
comes to stage.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But the reason why I choose laughter over everything else is because it has saved me. Psychologically, mentally. Ek het al gelag al uit 'n traffic fine. Come on. That's the right time when you want.
You should be crying.
Ja. Dan moet jy as ek nou wat die traffic kop laat lag, dan kom ek vinnig uit die ticket uit. Vinnig. And then the guy says, you know what, just go.
Just go.
Just go. I don't have time for you today.
Oh, geez. That is amazing. I want to talk a little bit about, because during COVID, a lot of people, they did nothing. A lot of people just thought, well, listen, entertainers can't entertain. People can't
Yeah.
work. Livelihoods were lost. People still, they still talk about, do you remember everything that we lost during the times in COVID? You decided to do something that was really special. You teamed up with our friends at Sipler for a project called Lean On Me, which
Yes.
I think is so special. 80 celebs, personalities. I'm in that video too. by the way.
100%. Oh my God, I'm
I
getting
know.
goosebumps again.
It was so incredible. What made you want to do that project? What was special about you getting involved and saying, "Come on, we've got to do something for the people"?
So there's a host of things that it touches on, really. I mean, for the first part of it is like, I could possibly have gone through depression and not know, because I would say in a colored community that is not spoken of, as of agter maar net 'n kop seer, of there's no, like when you sneeze, okay, I think you're getting the flu. Like depression doesn't have that element. There's no telltale signs of like you going through something, right? So whether I did or not, I don't know. But what I knew is I could see there was a shift in the atmosphere. Like people's morale is starting to become a bit low and stuff. So at the moment when I started talking to Sipler, they were like, we want to do something to motivate people. We want to just get... Then I was like, yeah, what about Lean On Me? Bill Withers, Lean On Me. And what I loved about that message was the fact that it just lets people know, whatever you're going through, you're not alone. And that was the motivation for me reaching out to you and a host of my other celeb friends, is because if I'm going through it, they're going through it. So if we all can just be a part of it and show other people like, listen, you're not alone, just stand together and stuff. So that was quite a challenge to pull off in itself, the project, because everything was done via cell phone.
Correct.
The mixing was done via cell phone, the recordings, the audio, the videos. But eventually when that went to light, people came to me and said, like, listen, this is actually inspirational and we loved what you did there. And so it was actually just my part to getting myself out of that funk with the hope that it would get other people out of that funk as well.
It was brilliant, and there should be a follow up to that because that was so special. People still talk to me about how you managed to rally people from their mobile devices and you activated a group of individuals to help others.
It was crazy
during a tough time.
And I think that's the time also when you find out what our technology today can actually do.
Yeah.
Because prior to that, I was just like voice note, yeah, but and now I'm coming 5 minutes. Like that's the extent of it. But this was just like a whole production on phones, and I was just like, this is insane.
We all made it through COVID. You made it through COVID looking great. How do you? And I'm being serious. I've never known a dick emo, overweight emo. We talk about first of all health in terms of weight. You've always been in good shape, mentally as well. We talk about how tough it is to deal with mental issues.
Yeah.
How have you managed to stay strong in 2023?
That question is power. Dude, that question, if you were Simon Cowell, I'd be losing this competition. you know, that is a very, very important, interesting question. I think it's knowing your strength and knowing your weakness. Knowing when it's okay to ask for help.
Sure.
Because a lot of people is blind.
Yeah.
You know, that's the blind spot that they don't see. But if I have to be honest, it's also just that fact of having a phenomenal, I mean, I've seen you with your family as well. I think just having that phenomenal foundation. Like when you go home, you know, it's home and your people are there. Yeah. And, you know, when I spend time with my kids, I'm like, okay, this is why it matters.
Spot on.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so I think that is what got me through. And a lot of people don't know this, but myself and my wife was running an undercover soup kitchen for a year. Going out to communities and feeding them and stuff. And what helped us was obviously wearing masks.
Nobody knew.
Nobody knew. And we chose it that way because we didn't want... did you know Emo was here? And now it starts becoming...
All of a sudden, well, he hasn't come to us yet.
Yeah.
We've been those
so
places.
this was and not just that, but like food drops.
Absolutely.
Bread and veggies and whatever we could afford at the time. Just like, hey, what do you know? For 10,000 and we can drop a whole truck. I'm like, yeah, bring the truck.
Exactly.
We go there and there and there. So this was all part to keep me busy.
Got you.
Because I think you start getting into that funk once you fall into that notion of, we're in COVID, there's nothing we can do, this stuff. So I think this was my time of self-growth. Still making sure that when you're on stage, you still have a duty to look decent.
Yes.
You still have a duty to be sound, mind, body and soul present, you know. Want as mense betaal vir 'n kaartjie, hulle kom nie daar vir jou problems.
No, exactly. Spot on. They come to get away from theirs.
They're coming away to get away from theirs. And that's what it's about. So whether I'm on stage, whether you're behind the mic, for that 2 to 3 hours that you're on the air, they want to be transported away from this real life. You have to put them in a journey. That journey includes music. It includes a quiz. It includes a comedy. It includes...
Absolutely.
So the reason why I go hard at performing, because I know I have 1 hour to change that people's minds sitting there.
Yeah.
And the reason more so why it's important, when I realized it was important, this was, I think in 1992, playing Bloemfontein in the winter, it was koud. Bloemfontein is die koudste plek. Ek was al by die Alps. Die Alps was warm, maar as Bloemfontein. It's the only place where I performed with a pajama pants under my pants. Want it was so cold.
That's cold.
The moral of the story is, because it was this cold, we were performing in a marquee tent. I think it seated about 500 people, and there was about 20. Ooh. And the band was just like, people's not coming out. I'm not like, listen, a show is a show is a show. Let's go. Let's treat it like a rehearsal. Let's have fun, whatever. We go on. Home run. Always make jokes as if there's 500 people sitting there. At the end of the show, there's about 30 people coming forward, and one lady's giving me this handkerchief, and I'm thinking, another number again,
Correct.
I mean, I know I'm...
Yeah, but it's probably for a gig, a charity gig.
I know I'm sexy.
A place where you need to be.
Yeah. So she's like, read this when you're done. I was like, thank you, I'm married. But I'll take it for the sweat. And I was brought down to earth very quickly because when I got home, found this napkin in my pocket. And then I read, and then it was a letter on the napkin, and she said, it's so weird. She says, Emo, tonight you saved my life. I was about to commit suicide. I was on the brink of committing suicide, and something told me to come watch your show. I have never laughed as I did. Tonight, I discovered there's still joy inside me. Thank you for saving my life.
Wow.
Now, this is 20, 30 people sitting there. My point being, your mind moet altyd reg is. If there's 500 people, you perform like there's 500 people, regardless to whether there's 10 or 5. Because as die voorman nie op jou gebouheid is, sy moet nog altyd bou.
Exactly.
I see no shortcuts. We are doing this because we're trying to get a high-end result. And that day, I vowed I will never skimp on a show again. If you set your foot on stage, 100%. Ek gaan jou laat lag uit jou mag. I'm going to put in like the time, I'm going to put in the work just so that everybody can feel uplifted, elevated, mentally sound. And that's why I'm an ambassador for Laughing is the Best Medicine, because you just never know what the next person is going through, which falls onto the lean on me, you're not alone.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So this is why I do what I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, he can now add inspirational speaker to that as well.
That book is coming. The book is coming.
It's got to.
Yeah.
You know that is next for you. It's about the only thing.
Don't even say that.
I know.
But you put it out in the universe.
Put it out. And Bill, I'm telling you now, it would be such a great read. Your life story. In actual fact, you'd have to think, what you'd have to leave so much out because it'd have to be like a 3-chapter series. This year, the first, second, third. And the one thing that I wanted to touch on, I know that we're running out of time, is how you've managed to balance your life, because you are naturally a yes person. You're not a no person. By nature, you choose to be a yes person, and that gets you and I into a lot of trouble.
100%.
Because every single person wants a sticky van Emo. Everybody, and I mean everybody. People listening to this podcast now going, I love that he must come talk here. He must come. And unfortunately, when 100 million people want you and a piece of you, and there's only just one Emo Adams, it is so taxing on you and your life. And so you have balance. You've got an amazing family structure. You, like me, have a wife that goes, let me see that diary of yours. You forget it. You see this, and that. We're not doing that. We are going to go and spend time as a family on that day and that day and that day.
100%.
And you are saying no. And it's a tough thing as an entertainer to say no to anybody. But you know what? Those partners of ours are 100% right. We need to be now, especially more than ever, cognizant of being able to say no as opposed to saying yes. And it's not to be ugly. It's not that we don't want to be involved in every charity and we don't want to spread our time amongst good causes and
100%.
causes that are relevant. But there's only so much of our time, and you are a yes person. So finding that balance, it's so lovely to watch you in this time and season of your life being able to say, yes, no, this is what realistically I can and can't do.
Yeah.
And it's made you look, like I said, like a young man, like the man I met you 30 years ago, you know?
Thank you. I'm glad you touched on that, because I think a lot of people don't know, whether it's be career-based or not, the same power that is in a yes is the same positive power that's in a no.
Yes.
Because your no is a benefit to you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's back at you.
And I think when you, a younger folk like we were back in the day, the no was an offensive thing.
Sure.
It was seen as a negative.
Yeah.
And I will never forget, David Kramer always said to me, when you become famous to the point when it's okay to say no, you'll understand.
I love that. I love that.
And I could never understand. And in the moment, I was like, I don't understand. I want to say yes to everything.
Yeah. But now, maak het heeltemal sin.
But I mean, fast forward, like I've been asked to do a few movies where there's like gangster roles and stuff, and then I was like, no, that's not the narrative I think should be out there right now.
Spot on.
So you need to know when to say no, and there's a positive power within that.
Super inspirational, entertainer of note, family man, dad, husband, and super lekker ook. Emo Adams, thanks for joining us on Health Matters.
Stay tuned for this song.
No, this is a podcast. There's no more songs. A huge thanks. Like, subscribe, share on Apple, and importantly, keep tuning in every single week as we bring you the latest in Health Matters from Cipla. Emo Adams, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, man.